and welcome to Cabin Fever Book Chat. I'm Sir Wentworth Cornwallis the Third, and on today's episode, Cabin Fever will be discussing On Writing, a memoir of the craft, by an up-and-coming author, Sir Stephen King. Oh, what was that? There's no book chat on today's episode? Well, I was told that there would be book chat on today's episode. Oh, well, this is quite distressing, I must say. You know, I drove all the way over here, myself. I had to drive myself. My word. You know, there's not many jobs for British highborn out there anymore. We're very limited on what we can do to make money. All we really have left are voiceover works for podcasting and documentaries about Victorian age antiques and PBS telethons. Besides that, it's very hard to make money. And I must admit, I have a bit of an addiction to rare wine auctions. And my wife, my poor wife, how will I provide for my lovely little flower? She has many hobbies, you see, and I like to fund her in all her endeavors. She has this lovely little hobby where she takes gold thread and silver thread and platinum thread, and she makes sweaters and sweatpants. You know, they look fabulous. They're so shiny, and when you wear it, you just feel like royalty. Not really very comfortable, and not comfortable at all, actually, but you look really good, and you feel good, because you're like, I'm wearing gold and silver and platinum. Oh, I'm rambling, is it? Fine. Well, whose fault was it on today's episode? It was the woman, you said. Oh, I figured it would have been that stoner one. Perhaps the skinny one. Well, fine. Enjoy today's Cabin Fever podcast. Minus book chat. Perhaps they'll book chat some other time. I shall get paid, do I not? Good. Fine. This is Sir Wentworth Cornwallis the Third, bidding you all a farewell and a happy day.
Cabin Fever.
Recording that.
Take two.
Always record.
Always be recording. Check us out.
Before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's...
We'll have Nick record a new intro for this one.
Yeah.
Check us out.
Before you wreck yourself.
Man, that's scratchy.
Keeping it fresh.
Cabin Fever.
Alright,
Cabin
so
Fever.
I know we're warming up the mics now. I've got a special announcement that I just want to make real quick
Oh boy.
concerning old Cabin Fever. Shit. Hold on.
Good.
Alright.
Sean's, I've never seen Sean so giddy. He's hiding behind
Damn
his
it, I don't
notes.
think I'll be able to do it.
I don't know.
Alright, so Cabin Fever, we're officially changing the format.
What?
We are now switching to the all-nude podcast. So start stripping now.
You better check yourself.
Hola.
This is serious. We're trying to get a new niche market. The nudist colonies No one's talking about it. And I want Cabin Fever to be that podcast that all Nude has come to. I know it's a little chilly, Matt, but I think we can handle it. Right?
I don't do well in the cold.
For the record, once we're nude, I'm always cold. So that'll explain.
Okay.
Certain
And
Yeah.
that's been a Cabin Fever. Break! Alright, now it's not going to become a nude podcast. Sorry,
Break.
guys.
Have you guys watched?
Maybe during the summer
we'll just
meet
tell
up.
everyone that we are, and
Yeah.
just take if you're listening to this.
Don't admit to it. We're always nude. We're always
Just
nude.
if you're listening, take your clothes off and enjoy.
Yeah, there you go.
Right
Be
now.
free.
That's how I usually listen to the podcast. Get real naked and just put the headphones on and just let the world...
Just
Well,
drive.
then I,
Just
for one,
drive
am
to your
very
shoot.
glad I'm wearing pants. As I'm sitting in your chair. One of them.
I put a towel down. It gets sticky and hot. Yeah.
I know you're not here for every podcast, but he does that even when him and I are
Yeah,
just
I
sitting here.
don't normally mention it because just wanted
We
to
just
go
know.
under the radar.
We
Be
just
cool.
You guys are just bros. I get
Yeah,
it. It's cool.
Two
You
dudes
got that
hanging out.
bromance.
One's naked, one's not.
Great. Don't kill my fantasy.
We're both.
One's naked, one's not. Like, that's your fantasy? It's like, oh, one of them's fully clothed.
Yeah.
Oh.
The intrigue. Why is the other one naked? What does it mean?
And they flip-flop.
They see how quick they can change clothes. Grr.
So the topic this week is obscure fetishes. And,
Happy Tuesday, everybody. So we are back. We're back in the cabin. We have one of our favorite guests on,
Yay! Me.
Rachel Gillis.
I'm here.
And we have a special podcast
Yes.
because we're finally going to get down to talking about the book.
The book chat.
Are you ready?
Oh no.
Hold
on.
Delete, rewind.
I'm so sorry. I've had
No
school.
worries.
I haven't had
No,
Oh,
it.
you haven't read it?
No, catch us up. We're,
I'm gonna order it right now.
Wait. Yeah.
I was under the impression you've been reading it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Now you're like rushing to read this book. I'm like, she's got to be done with it.
I know, I thought she'd be
dude.
done.
No,
Don't
it's
order it.
totally
Don't order
cool.
it. I can give you my copy of it.
Do you have a hard copy?
Yeah.
I'll never give it back to you. It's a problem.
That's all
I
right.
should probably just download it on Kindle, actually.
Do you read a lot on
yeah,
Kindle?
whatever's easiest for you to read.
Actually, and I don't know if you do audiobooks, but I have it on my phone too. I can send it to you.
Can you?
Mhm.
That would be awesome, because then I can listen to it while I'm driving.
That's how I
oh,
finished it.
nice, yeah.
I just
Or if
I
it-
found
be
a
like a podcast.
I found a copy online for free.
Stumbled across
Just
that,
bleep
did you?
that out. Figured.
Hey, is
Okay.
Pirate Bay even still around?
But,
Aye.
They changed
Okay.
their name
Oh,
frequently.
really?
well, go ahead and talk about some of the themes and stuff. I can contribute. I'm good at this. Go.
I wanted to save it.
It's a secret.
Oh,
to
man.
save
You
it
should have prepped me about, told me.
That's all right.
Oh, don't even
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't even
I feel
worry about
really
it.
bad. I'm a shitty human.
There's
I'm
like a
sorry.
gazillion things we could talk about besides
I'm
the book.
so sorry.
No worries.
I'm gonna pause the podcast.
I'm good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good to go wherever. I just wasn't. I'm sorry.
I'll send you the audiobook,
I would love that.
and it's good though. I think you would really enjoy it as a reader.
Oh, absolutely.
Is Steve
And I know
King's
that-
writing tools or tools
No.
on writing?
Oh man,
It's a
it's
half-
so it's
It's a half
Yeah.
autobiography,
half memoir
half memoir.
and then half on
It
writing.
talks about his drug addiction and
Oh,
Mhm.
Recovery
alcoholism.
But he ties it
so
all into
much.
writing, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And I don't feel like you have to be a fan of his writing to enjoy it.
No.
okay. Well,
I
yeah,
mean, it goes.
I'm not really.
And I knew you weren't, because you told me that once on a Facebook post that I made. And I only know that because it came up my time hop the other day, and it was like a 5-year-old time hop.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Because I found someone dropped off Stephen King's entire collection in the Costco parking lot one time, and
Oh.
all in boxes. And I just
Wow.
found it by a trash can, and I asked my brother, I'm like, "Can I just take these?" And he's like, "Yeah, just take them." So I had them all, and I put a Facebook
Wow.
post up like, if anyone's interested, I have all these Stephen King books. I'm like gonna sell them on half.com.
And of course,
And
I
then
was
you
like,
were like,
shit.
he's overrated.
Yeah, of course. I was like, I just had to put my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
Like, so to you, Rachel's like, that's not worth your time. Ew.
Rachel's like, I need some kindling.
Now you can get your whole collection. You want to make money? No. I'm going to burn it.
I know, I think I sold 2.
He has contributed some wonderful stories. There are definitely, I like the adaptations, but his some of it gets so lost, I think, in translation. It gets lost in cinema. Like, I think his best ones are the ones that are a little less crazy. Like The Shining, honestly.
Oh, right.
I hate that movie.
Well, the movie is completely different than the actual book. That's what Stephen King was really mad about for Kubrick doing.
Yeah.
Because Kubrick just completely changed it.
Didn't Kubrick do Clockwork Orange too?
Yeah.
And he changed the book too. He changed that story too.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So maybe that guy just needs to stay away from literary classics.
Well, he's dead, so...
Good.
He's done. He's done his damage.
But there's like all this like fandom about The Shining, the movie, and how brilliant it was, and all this like hidden message. There's a documentary about the movie.
I watched that.
Yeah, I mean, they try to make correlations between like the Apollo missions and all kinds of crazy stuff.
That documentary was cool because some of the theories, but some of the theories were so out there. Where I was like, is this even legit? Are they even like...
They're just trying. They're just
it's
reaching
just
for
really
it.
Reaching.
Okay.
Like, we don't have to go into this too far, but there was this one... Yeah.
The court.
Oh. Gosh darn it.
We're listening to Matt try to close the door right now.
The door is winning.
Well, I'm trying to get my dong out of the way. So it doesn't get caught in the door.
You're supposed to put your pants on it.
Anyway, this is one scene where in the back of a scene, there's a picture of a minotaur, and like someone was trying to build this whole theory on the minotaur and how it related to the movie, but it's just literally one scene with a painting, and they're like, he put the painting there on purpose. It like means all this stuff. It was just really ridiculous, like some of the theories about the movie and stuff, and I was like, you know, he's like seen as this, and I'm probably just shitting all over him, but he's seen as this like really creative, like crazy genius type guy. Mm-hmm. But I think some people just take it too far. Like, I'm like, I don't think he thought about all of that. Like, you know.
Sometimes he just had to get the shot and he figured out how to do it.
Yeah, or just use something existing that was already there because it just fit the scene, you know?
Yeah.
Well, when someone like that passes away, people love to just like really glorify and just really build someone up. Maybe he didn't really care. It was the set, you know, designer, and they had a Minotaur photo or picture, and he's like, yeah, throw that up there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And there's no thought except for a million other things that's on his mind when it comes to directing a movie.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to like work on not speaking over people. I just get excited.
Me too.
But Minotaurs and mazes. There's a huge correlation there. So maybe
the hedge is like the last scene has a lot to do. So there are probably a lot of little subcurrents of connections and things like that in that movie. You know, people just love diving. They do the same thing with books, too. Like, you go into a writing class, and they're just going to... Every little nuance in a story, people are going to pick apart. Maybe the writer's just... He'd been writing for, like, 5 hours, like, I just got to fill something in. I got to make
sense. And it somehow works to become this brilliant thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I got super nerdy about cinematography after I discovered the Internet Movie Database, and you have to figure out all the trivia that goes into it, and like how the directors do certain things. I just said do, and then
I was like biting my tongue. I was like do. You do.
And then other like what actors do. Leonardo DiCaprio, when he like broke his glass with both his hands.
That was such a great scene.
And he just kept going. Like, cool beans. Didn't win an Oscar for that one though. Had to get raped by a bear. And then, thinking about,
I think a lot of times when it comes down to the Oscars, he's getting the Oscar for Wolf of Wall Street. He's getting the Oscar for, you know, just like you said, all these other movies that he was great in, like Who's Eating Gilbert Grape. He probably should have won for that way back in the day. Whoever he was going up against deserved it, but yeah.
It's all like politics.
That. Oh, yeah.
My roommate, Megan, her grandmother is on the board of governors and chooses who gets Oscars.
See, it's old people.
And she's been in the industry for a while. And her friend, you know, a long time, they've been around and in the industry. And she goes to the governor's ball. things like that. But it's all politics. If you piss off one of those people, you're not getting an Oscar.
Yeah.
They're going to just badmouth you and downvote you and convince other people not to. It's like being on the Senate in Rome. Like,
exactly.
You'll never be Caesar.
Oh, have you guys seen Hateful Eight?
Yeah.
I just saw it last night, and to me, it was like one of the best movies I'd seen in a long time. And
Really?
I felt like a lot of people were shitting on it, like it wasn't up to par with the Tarantino movie. I just thought the acting and everything was just done so amazingly. And the I forget the actor's name, but he's in a lot of things. He's in Justified. He played the sheriff. He was claiming to be the sheriff of Redwood.
Yeah.
He was
He was in
so
Django.
fucking good. That dude deserved an award for that movie. So good in it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I kept falling asleep, but in the movie's defense, I kept watching it right.
Well, it's a lot of dialogue, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a Quentin Tarantino thing.
Yeah,
it's all dialogue. He builds
Yeah.
character, and he does a lot of quick panning shots. But I love Quentin Tarantino. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of his filmography, but I have cinematography. I don't know what you would.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of his canon. Like I haven't seen Jackie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
It's very obscure. Of course, I've seen Pulp Fiction, and I didn't like it the first time I saw it. And it was only after I got into reading and literature and talking about that, getting into that discussion about chronological. I'm sorry, I'm running on 90 minutes of
it's all
sleep,
good.
so I'm not able to speak. But chronological order and how he shoots it backwards, and that's the genius behind that movie. And then you see Django, and it's just all these awesome quick pans and long shots and stuff like that. And it's just really, he has all these trademarks that you get that are just kind of quirky and fun. And I love that he's only going to make 9 movies, 10 movies, and then he's like, I'm not making it anymore, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm like, you get it.
Hateful Eight was his 8th one, so 9, 10, he's got 1 or 2 more left.
That's
and
cool.
I don't know what he's gonna do after that.
Probably work with Robert Rodriguez and make
Oh,
more,
right, yeah.
make more awesome
Yeah.
slasher movies, lots of gore.
He could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Really.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think I felt the same way you feel about Hateful Eight, about Inglourious Bastards when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen his other movies and stuff, but for whatever reason, that movie I felt was so good and so well put together that I immediately rewatched it, and I never do that with movies, but it was done. I was like, that was incredible.
I still think about scenes in Inglourious Bastards, just the tension that's
The
building
intense-
up.
yeah, that it
when they're in
builds
the bar scene, they're in the basement.
With
Yeah.
the 3. You're German.
Yes,
I think 'cause
exactly.
And then, but that whole scene is you're on the
Yeah.
edge of your seat. You're
Yeah.
like, how is this going to go down?
Go down, and then everybody dies, and it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. But yeah,
So crazy.
it's one of those movies that I have to really because you have to pay attention because it's all in foreign language, so you really have to sit there and watch the movie.
Yeah.
Which is part of his genius is that he psychs you in that way.
Oh,
And
for sure.
I know a lot of people weren't happy with it because he blew up Hitler, and the world would have been such a different place. But that's the genius behind it.
It was so awesome.
And the characters, you fall in love with the characters.
And you want them to win, and even in that tension, all the stuff building up to that scene, you're still kind of like, are they going to get away with this? And then they just do spectacularly, and you're just like, that is so gratifying.
Yeah, yeah. She pulled it off, yes!
Yeah.
She got her vengeance, is the best! And Christopher Waltz. I love
such
him.
a good actor.
He's so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Fun, but man, he made me so anxious through that whole movie.
Oh, and that's his gift, though.
Yeah.
I haven't
he was
seen.
terrifying.
Well, even in Django, and he's a good guy, he still causes anxiety. You're like, I don't know, he's unpredictable.
Yeah. He's such a wild card.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
He's this well-mannered gentleman, but no, actually, he's a bounty hunter. He's cold-blooded, and he kills no problem in front of his, kills that father in front of his son. And
so good.
And then in Inglourious Bastards too, when he kind of orchestrates the whole ending and allows it to happen, you were kind of like, even though as evil as he was during the movie, you're like, God damn, I respect his character now in a weird way because he's allowing this to happen and he's negotiating his freedom and stuff like that. And you're like, damn, this guy's smart, as a character.
Well,
too.
I felt like that with Django too. You think that with you don't like Samuel L. Jackson's character, and he's the house N-word.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I don't want to say that on your
Uncle
podcast.
Tom or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the worst one. He's the worst one, and no one wants to be a house slave. Nobody wants to do that, and he's glorified. And you don't don't like him as a character, but he's fun to watch because of the things that he just says and spouts off and his ideas. And yeah, I think that's another gift of Quentin Tarantino. He makes you kind of fall in love with the villains.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you think about Kill Bill and the Crazy 88 scene. That's one of my mom's. My 60-year-old mom loves that scene. She will watch the whole movie just to watch that part. She loves when Lucy Liu dies. And gets the top of her head sliced off.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Mom, why are you so cool? Can we hang out?
Yeah.
So.
And his soundtracks are so cool. Like the Death Proof soundtrack is one of my favorites.
And that's a good movie too.
That's a really good movie.
But you have to get into it. You can't. Like, I've met some people who are like, "Nah, that one's not so great." I'm like, "Are you serious?"
That's the Kurt Russell one.
Yeah.
In the driving, he's a stunt driver, and he like terrorizes those girls.
I gotta rewatch
and then they
that
just straight up like curb stomp him in the end, and it's wonderful.
Right. Yeah. Another gratifying end.
She just lifts her leg up and lets it drop. You're like, oh, so badass, so crazy.
That was a crazy movie too. I mean, in a style of like dialogue too, because for the whole first half of the movie, and it's a shorter movie than his other ones, but you're like, wait, like what is going on? And then you realize, oh, like they're just talking. Like this is just they're all in this bar and they're just developing these characters and the situation as it goes along. And I think once you like stop seeing it, like have the expectations of a normal film, you're like, okay, this is gonna set up this, then they're gonna go here, and then it's gonna climax and stuff. Like once you can like let go of that stuff, like then you can just really get into what he's doing and stuff like that. And it's
so
really
cool
neat
that he does that for people.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's why people don't like it, though, because a lot of people watch those movies to unwind, and instead he challenges you as the viewer to accept things differently, like to get more into the story and get more. You invest in the characters. You're like, cool. It's like hanging out with your friends. Like he wants you to feel like you're hanging out with these girls and you're getting to know them and talking to them and stuff. So and it's weird how he just like cuts one out. Like at the very end, you're just gonna stay here, and they leave her, and you never see her again.
Yeah,
like,
that was.
It's just like, but that's how life is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's
true.
Totally.
And it's just like questionable too, the way they leave her with that guy.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, what's gonna go on here? Well, whatever.
Yeah. She'll handle herself. See you later. Love ya. Take care.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where he's going to go next. He's done the westerns. He's done kind of modern day. He's done
colonial.
Yeah.
Well, not colonial, but like plantation era.
Plantation era. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, he could do anything really.
I hope he does.
Really anything.
Well, not something. He does really well with real life situations.
Very true. Yeah.
So,
like I'm thinking like. Would he go in the future now? But I don't know. But maybe he
that
could.
That would be really
maybe
cool, actually. I was like...
But still bring, like, a real human aspect to the future, you know? Maybe it's a dystopian future. Maybe it's not necessarily, like, crazy...
I think I would really like to see his dystopian future.
Yeah, me too.
Because it would be a total mind trip. Like,
yeah.
I think it would, but in the same way, like you said, he would just tell a really relatable human story with a backdrop of this. So you'd probably be trying to figure out maybe like what happened, but he probably wouldn't give you too much of like...
He'd probably just use the setting as a tool to enhance his character development, which is probably, you know, that's just what... So anyway, huge nerd, love that guy. Also like Christopher Nolan. I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan.
Yeah.
I wonder what's next for him, because he did Interstellar, and I haven't really heard what's next in the...
Yeah.
In the works for
him.
And
I loved Interstellar.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. That was
so
incredible.
How many times have you guys needed to watch it? I've watched it twice just to kind of
really
let it set in the second time.
I think in the summertime I'll spend some time watching it. But the school year, I just don't.
Oh yeah.
I just don't have.
Yeah.
It's a day-long movie. You gotta like really sit down and invest the time to watch that.
Yeah, that's true. I've only seen it the one time.
Just the once.
Yeah, but it was incredible. Like I was seriously, I thought it was gonna be pretty good, but I was still managed to be like blown away by it. And then all I can think about is that scene where they come back to the ship and it's been like 40 years on Earth, or 45 minutes on the planet and 20 years on Earth, and he has to watch the videos.
Because time has changed.
Yeah, and he's just like breaking down, and I was like, I remember like sitting in the theater, I was like, I wasn't expecting this. Like, I was starting to like tear up and stuff, and I was like, this is not what I expected from this movie, and I just like my heart like sank and stuff. And
that's what it's heavy. You can't just like, okay, I'm just gonna watch Interstellar, like have it on in the background, because you're gonna sit down and you're gonna be like, oh, like it's like just weighs on you. It's just hangs out with you a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because I remember watching it, and there's a lot of heavy themes in there, stuff about love transcending time, and I really liked that, and that was something that my coworker at the time really just, she told me about it, and I didn't pick up on it. She's like, isn't that true, though? Like, when somebody dies, you still love them. It doesn't stop you from loving them, and so it doesn't matter time or distance. If you care about somebody, like, I haven't seen my family on the East Coast in years, doesn't mean that I don't care about them.
Right. Yeah.
It does transcend time and distance.
Absolutely.
So it's the one thing that beats it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Human emotion.
Yeah.
So that's what cinema does. So Stephen King, bring this back.
Oh wait, one more thing. Sorry, but I thought it was weird that Christopher Nolan did the Batman trilogy, and then they have the new Batman Superman movie, and he was a producer of that movie.
Was he?
Oh, he was.
I didn't know that.
He was an
I
executive
did
producer of
not
that
know
movie.
that.
Oh.
And I was like, I thought that was kind of cool that he kind of is endorsing this, like, different Batman, even though
Right.
who knows how that all works, but I
There's
thought that
a
was
lot
interesting.
of feedback that it isn't. Ben Affleck does okay as Batman.
I liked the movie.
I didn't
saw
see
it.
it. I wish I could
saw it.
comment. All I've heard
Yeah.
is it's kind of dog shit, but I gotta see it before I can really comment on it.
I thought it was good. I am like not a comic book person, and I have no investment in like that whole story or anything like that.
Because that is a storyline in the books, or in the comic books that
where
they do
DC
battle.
crosses.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's all
all
DC.
DC.
That's all DC.
So and I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more, because that seems to be like the very critical elements of
It's
of
darker.
it. Yeah,
DC,
it's very dark. It's very
DC
gritty.
comics tend to be darker than the Marvel comics, which is interesting because
And the movie reflects that, I feel like.
Yeah,
'Cause
well, there's
the
no clear
Marvel
villain,
ones-
right?
What's that?
In Batman versus or Superman versus Batman, there's no clear villain.
Well,
Okay, there is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One emerges.
Okay.
But
Lex-
right
Lex
between
Luthor?
them, yeah, there's no villain between them. But they do that was my biggest question going in. Like, why are these guys fighting? But they do it I feel like a really good job of setting it up. Like, what is going on with these two, that they are so juxtaposed, and how like the clear villain emerges from that. I thought was really well. As a person who was like asking that, was like all that was answered really well and in a believable way.
Awesome.
And then I just think, like, I've watched the Marvel movies, and like they're a little bit more upbeat and fun and funny, you know. And then like I think it's cool that this one's like pretty gritty and like kind of the opposite.
Well, that's the tone of DC, is they're more darker. I mean, that's Suicide Squad's darker. You know, DC is much more darker, and I guess you got Spider-Man, a little bit more comical. It's the lighter side is definitely Marvel. But with the DC one, I think they should have made a Batman just with Ben Affleck, made another Superman movie, then made Batman vs Superman. Like really built it up, kind of how Marvel does. You know, they have all. You know, they've got
Release
Oh,
Thor doing
schedule.
his movie, you got Iron Man, you got all
Release
these other
schedule,
movies,
yeah.
and then they all smash together for the Avengers. I think they should have built it up a little bit more, because they are planning on Ben Affleck directing the next Batman, himself directing him.
Yeah.
He could do it.
He's a good
what
director.
I've heard is that he was the shining thing out of the movie. Was he did make a decent Batman and Bruce Wayne, so
He did.
he's probably going to make a good Batman coming up in the next. Probably going to make a trilogy of Ben Affleck Batman movies, and then what do they have? The League Avenger. What's their
League of Justice.
League of Justice? Yeah,
Justice League.
Justice League. Yeah.
Justice League.
Yeah, but I agree. Like, I think that would have made more sense, because like his version of Batman and stuff is pretty interesting and different, and like he's kind of like this jaded Batman, and it's cool. Like his scenes and all that stuff, because I guess they had to play catch up real quick, in order to move on to like their whole conflict. But then the bits and pieces you see of that I think is like super interesting. You're like, wow, where did this Batman like come from? And he's just like this like degaff Batman. It's
Right,
pretty,
yeah,
it's really interesting. Like,
So he's supposed to be the same Batman that was in the trilogy. It's supposed to be. He's been through all of that.
No.
It's a different time.
Whole different universe.
yeah, it's
I
a
think.
different.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it's different.
So that's like a separate.
So
there's
so with
the
the Nolan
trilogy.
that's the Dark Knight series.
Okay.
Now we're on to just Batman, I guess.
guess.
Batman, because they have different
very
versions
different.
of all these different like
See,
comic books.
if
It's
you-
weird how it's in that. Like,
well, you think about like the Hulk too.
Yes.
There's like four different Hulk
different
characters,
types of whole characters, exactly.
and everyone liked Edward Sharpe because he really played the
Edward Norton?
Thank you.
Norton?
Yeah.
Edward Sharp and the, what is it?
Magnetic Zero.
Magnetic.
Sorry, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Edward Norton.
Good band.
Edward, yeah, I like him.
And Ed Norton's a phenomenal actor.
He is,
Yeah.
but he's supposed to be quite the diva.
He's a shithead.
Yeah,
and that's
he's
why
supposed
he
to-
wasn't...
Ass back.
Yeah.
Everyone liked Mark Rufio.
Exactly.
Rufio.
Ruffalo.
Rufio!
I like Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah,
Just
he's
as
a great
actor. I
actor.
think
He's an awesome actor. Did you guys? I think you actually recommended it to me.
The kids are all right.
No, the one where he's a sex addict.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for asking,
Or yeah, something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Damn,
that
I
was
can't
a
remember.
really good movie. It was really good, and I was like, wow,
Oh, that's cool.
your depth. You have
Yeah.
depth.
Well, then you should watch The Kids Are All Right.
Okay.
That's a really good one
Is
with
it?
him. Yeah. I could tell you the synopsis real quick.
Lay it out.
No, I'm not giving anything away.
Okay, go for
But
it.
it's about a married lesbian couple, and they have 2 kids. One of them each had a kid from the same sperm donor. The oldest is a girl, and she's 18, and she wants to know who the sperm donor is, and it's Mark Ruffalo.
Oh.
So it's about them getting in contact with him, and then.
Oh, that's
That
pretty.
is
That's
interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
is a. I think I might have touched on this previously. How my cousin is a sperm donor baby, and how
okay.
it's like an actual subculture that I didn't know existed, but it does because of modern technology. My cousin has all these half siblings that she's actually in touch with, and they go and
wow.
they meet up and they go on a trip at least once a year together.
Oh, cool.
And she'll like go to Vegas and visit her half sister,
Whoa.
and she'll go somewhere else. And some of them are like some of her half sisters have, you know, mom and dad. Some of them have just a mom. Some of them have 2 moms. Some have 2 dads. Like it's crazy.
Oh, I see.
And they all get together, and there's this huge family, and they actually talk to each other about, oh my sister, oh my sister. And there's like a few people who chose the same donor, but they didn't choose to participate. So
Right.
there's like 2 siblings who don't want anything to do, but it's like seven kids.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That is cool.
it's real. It's a subculture I didn't know
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah, I never
guess
would
it's
have
a.
thought
I guess
of
it's a
that,
thing.
yeah. I thought it was like, you know, if you're a sperm donor, it's like, okay, this is private. I'm throwing my seed out there, and I'm not expecting 20 years from now to like
Well, they don't
see my kids.
They don't
Oh,
know
so
the
it's-
donor.
Oh, so, okay. I
But they
get
just
that.
know it was the
it's
same
just
one.
They just know
They use
each
the same
other.
one.
Wow.
So that's up to the donor
Wow.
then to be.
I think so. If they
Because-
want to be acknowledged or not, I would assume so. This guy, he was like an ideal donor,
Right.
which I hate to say because everyone's ideals are different. But it was.
Probably some MIT.
He was
Dude
like
or
6
something.
foot. He played classical piano and violin. He could sing. He, was like, I don't know. He had all these qualifications, magna cum laude, like
Yeah.
all these crazy things. And they were like, yeah, awesome. I want that sperm. Cool. And so and what's really interesting is that and he was a swimmer. All of the girls swim. All of the
Wow.
girls like to play. All of them like to be in drama. All of it, like, it's so interesting
Fascinating.
how those
Those things came
social things are actually displayed through genetic characteristics. It's
Right, it's
fascinating.
still
Huge,
emerged.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Regardless of who they were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our genetics is just information that gets smashed together with another human being, and then bam, kind
Yeah.
of like a combination of the two.
It's like
Yeah.
So
shuffling
fascinating.
2 decks of cards.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Fascinating.
crazy.
Yeah, it is really cool. So speaking of, like, that's just a sidetrack. So I guess it is touching on that, but that is something that happens. And I don't know if in the future, because my aunt is a single mother. She always wanted a family, and she just never could find a guy who wanted the same thing she did. So she went out and did it herself.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's exhausting. I am so happy and proud for her, but there is no way that I would personally do that. Even if I had it, like, I would never choose to do that for myself,
Right.
just because of the way that my cousin.
Have you ever talked to her about it? Like, hey, like, what made you finally decide? Like, okay,
I
this
haven't,
is what I'm
because I
gonna have
haven't
to
had one-on-one
Oh, okay.
with my aunt there's no one-on-one with my aunt right now, because my cousin is of an age where she is still dependent. She's just
Okay.
now 10. Point, like, or option for her to get, because she's a high school teacher at Scripps Power High School.
Damn.
And my cousin goes to school at Francis Parker, and she does on scholarship, and she's driving Evie around everywhere, making sure Evie's getting socialized well and doing all these things, but it's just exhausting. She's trying to get into flipping houses right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in her life. She's never been one to sit around. And I love talking to her because she's the one who's like, just pick a path, and if you don't like it, change it. She went to school. She got a degree in film, and then because she wanted to be in Hollywood. And then she actually worked at the Old Globe for a while, my aunt did, and she got to interact with some actors who, like, were just travel around, and she hated it. She hated working with them. She was like, I can't do this. So she went back and got her teaching credential.
Huh.
Wow.
She was like, I got to a point where I volunteered to tutor, and I found out that I was excited to leave work to go to my other job, and I thought, well, maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
So this woman, like my aunt, she's very smart, very articulate. I think if she got more sleep, she'd be more with it, but she just doesn't. She can't, because the minute Evie goes to bed, she's like grading papers, and then she's up, and then she has to get up with Evie and get Evie up early, and then has to get her to school, and it's a crazy loop, and I wish I could be there for her more, but she's very...
obviously she's here in San Diego then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's very independent. There was a period of time when she actually cut my family out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she got pregnant, and she didn't want us around for that.
Mm.
So it wasn't until Evie was like 4 or 5. I saw Evie as an infant, but my mom and dad didn't. So...
She just wanted to go on her own journey, experience it, or she was afraid to, what?
There's a lot of
Be judged
family,
or something?
yeah, there's a lot of family history there. My grandfather, her father and my dad's father, very misogynistic.
Old school?
Very much women have a place that's in the home raising children.
Oh, wow.
My aunt rebelled, like,
Yeah.
whoa, I'm going to get my own car, I'm going to learn how to fix it. So she did. She took shop class. She took AutoCAD. Like, she knows how to fix her car. She knows what it goes...
Cool.
She did that self-motivated because she wanted my grandfather to acknowledge her. My father was the firstborn son, and his older sister kind of just got pushed to the side. And it was really hard for his younger sister, my Aunt Laura, to see that and be okay with that, because as Aunt Laura was growing up, she was younger, so she grew up during like Women's Lib and seeing all these amazing women doing amazing things and stepping up for themselves and taking charge of their lives, and so she's very much like, I'm not gonna, she was very much a hippie, like, I'm not gonna wear deodorant, I'm gonna wear clay, things like that, and she didn't shave, and like crazy stuff like that, like hardcore feminist.
Wow.
And
she's just like, well, I'm gonna have a kid without a guy too.
well, she wanted a family.
Yeah.
And I'm just, if that's what she wants, I have no hate or judgment in my heart for her. I just know it's not right for me. I don't know. It's hard for people to distinguish that, I think, until you're like in that situation where you see someone and you see how happy they are and you're like, that is awesome. I support you in that. But then when you don't do it yourself, they take it as a personal reflection upon themselves. And it's like, it's just not right for me. It doesn't mesh with my ideals of what motherhood or raising a child should be like.
Do you want kids though? You just
I would love to have kids.
Obviously,
I want a partner.
Yeah.
It doesn't, if I was in a relationship, I'm not, like attracted to females, but I get along with them. So if I had this really close kinship with a woman and we were just like companions and we both wanted kids, sure. Because then you have someone to share the burden.
Yeah, right.
And it's important for children to have that, I think, personally. That isn't everybody's thought. And many people are very successful. But I look at how exhausted my aunt is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would like to have a more traditional family.
Yeah.
I think it's important for children to have a male figure and a female figure, the duality of society.
Absolutely.
I think that's very important for children. It's actually been statistically proven that it's better for daughters to have sons to have mothers and daughters to have fathers. Like, it's just better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For a more well-rounded individual. Not to say that people who don't have that can't contribute to society.
Oh,
you know what I mean? But
yeah.
So that's my own personal belief. My aunt is doing an awesome job. She's doing everything she can, and I commend her for it. I love her, and I want everything to go well. And I'm just like, let me help you. I'll be there for you. But
Nice.
it's hard. I don't know what's going to happen when Evie, because Evie's smart. Evie's really smart. And she's got that wild side. I can see it already. She's mischievous. She's trying to get away with stuff. And I'm like, stay focused in school because I was where you were at and you don't want to be me. My aunt is kind of like pushing
Gillish
it.
genes.
Like Scottish, man. We do what we want.
Oh, hell yeah. It's real. It's genetic memory. It's within you. When you have people like the Scots, like the Irish, constantly rebelling, really living a shitty life. Like, the British were so oppressive. Like, for so many years, it's just ingrained in our DNA. It doesn't matter if we're born here in America. That's like that memory is still deep seated and in there, and it's really weird to think about. But yeah, it's that
like social markers that are genetically imprinted in you. That's just it's interesting to see where that's actually a thing.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Yeah. Sperm donors, they do, not sperm donors, but sperm babies. They, test tube babies, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
It's an awesome little subculture to get involved in if you can.
I have to do more research into that.
That's why you really like that movie. That's what we got started on.
That's right.
It's a good movie. Even I just started describing it to my girlfriend one night, and she's like, well, let's watch it. And she really liked it, too. So it was good.
Is she ever gonna? Is she ever podcast with you guys?
No? But she said she was interested in doing it, so we'll have her on for some kind of.
Oh yeah, she's anytime she wants to come on.
Sean's like, no.
She just went to Harry Potter World on Sunday.
I hate you.
Well, let's have her.
No, she did. I didn't go.
Oh, yeah. I was like, you went to Disneyland. You got.
Yeah, she went all in the same week.
Stupid.
Wow.
Did you see his Lion King?
I
saw it.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing.
But I also hate you for putting that. But I'm gonna get a Lion King tattoo. I'm like, you put that bug in my ear, and I'm like, I need it. I need it to happen.
Where are you gonna put it?
On my ankle.
On your ankle?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I think I want the silhouette of Rafiki.
Yes,
that'd be cool.
That'd be great.
I want a Rafiki one, and I love his line because it's so applicable. The one where the past can hurt, either you run from it or you learn from it, but it's too long, so I have to figure out what I want. I don't want the past can hurt. I don't want that on my body.
Yeah, that's the worst with good lines like that. If it's too long, it's just not gonna work for a tattoo.
Yeah,
but you want it.
I'm on it.
You could just put run from it or learn from it.
I probably put like an ellipsis or learn from it, and then have Rafiki there, or like just even his little stick.
Ooh,
because that means something to me.
Yes,
but that's what tattoos are about. I think it's not for other people.
Yeah, exactly.
I get that so many times people are like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, I'm sure. Well, you more than you, but what is that? And you're like, it's a tattoo.
Yeah.
They put ink in my skin, okay?
When we go to Disneyland, I don't really go in the souvenir shops at all because I'm like, man, all this stuff is just fucking overpriced bullshit, that people are all about. But I went in and they had all the movie soundtracks on those picture disc vinyls in this store, and I was like, what? And they were all like really appropriately priced for a record. Like, they didn't do a crazy markup or anything like that.
That's
and then
awesome.
I was just like, oh, okay.
$50 for a vinyl. You're
right,
like, this isn't even vintage.
Yeah. They even had a Star Wars soundtrack
on
my gosh. A double disc vinyl. I almost got that
for the new
one. Yeah.
Which is so awesome.
Cool.
I love that soundtrack.
It was good.
I really like that soundtrack a lot.
Do you guys like the movie in general?
That's the one I was just going to say. You guys said that you watched that. I watched it twice in one day.
Oh, yeah. I watched it over and over and over.
Yeah, it was the Sunday after my birthday. We woke up, we watched it. And then my friend Ava, we went to her house, and it was the only movie she had because she's moving back up to Ramona.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's the only movie she had, so we watched it again.
Nice.
But I liked it both times. Cool. I was like, this is so good. Little DV8.
I saw it twice in theaters.
Yeah.
It's
cool. Worth it. It's worth it.
Did you see 3D?
3D the first time. Because I didn't choose to do it. It was the only one we could get. Oh, it was cool.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it the second time without it.
Yeah, it didn't, there was like one part that I really loved, and it was like at the very beginning,
With the laser beam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already said that. Yeah, it's because it was awesome.
I
but
could imagine.
But other than that, it really wasn't. I don't remember anything else from it that was like wow factor.
Yeah. I just feel like the non-3D, you can notice so much more because you're not looking. You know, it's not like coming out at you.
Not looking for it to come at you. Yeah.
You can just kind of like observe everything. Yeah, and it was really neat.
It was really cool. I'm just like, I really want the next one to come out already. Bring it. Where is it? But they're doing the Rogue One first.
Yeah, Rogue One. That'll be out in December, I want to say.
So that's awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to bring Christian Haydenson back.
He will not be back, and if he is, it'll be such a small role. It'll be like.
But he's Darth Vader.
He'll be like a Force ghost. He won't be in the Darth Vader suit or anything like that.
Yeah, because he's dead. When
Wait,
Rogue
I thought
One
it was
takes
between. I thought it was between.
No,
Rogue
One is the beginning of A New Hope. So the first one, the rebels are stealing the Death Star plans. So you remember when Darth Vader in A New Hope was like, we're looking for the Death Star plans, we're looking for who stole it, and they thought it was in the droid in R2-D2, which it was.
Yeah.
And so yeah, this is all about them actually stealing the plans. So Darth Vader will be in the Rogue One,
but he's like very distant.
Yeah,
character.
it will not be Hayden Christensen.
You might see him like walk by.
It will not be Hayden Christensen.
Because it's not
it
about
will be,
him. It's about
James Earl
them
Jones
stealing.
voicing it, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah, it will be him. If not, it will be somebody who sounds exactly like.
I guess I just found this out. I was reading trivia on this, but the George Lucas and the guy who played the original Darth Vader, who passed away, they didn't get along at all.
Oh.
And because it was on Reddit, and it was the bloopers from the original Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh, I saw that. All right, I saw the post. I didn't watch it. But
and there was there's a scene where the Emperor gets drawn up and he got flipped upside down because it was the Emperor. It was the guy who played the Emperor, not Darth Vader.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And he didn't like the Emperor guy, and the guy because the Emperor guy was kind of just arrogant, I guess. And he went to George Lucas. He's like, I can do this in one take, and he did. And it just kind of was like...
Well, from what I hear, George Lucas isn't a very good... he's good at the whole visuals and everything, but directing actors, he's not that great
No
at.
shit. Can we talk about episodes 1 through 3?
Exactly. yeah. All the prequels, that is George Lucas.
He wrote it, and he directed it.
He just wanted to do CGI craziness.
And the episodes 3 through 6, or 4 through 6, are... written by Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, or it was like George Lucas's idea, and then Steven Spielberg directed it, which is why they were so much better because there was actual direction. Yeah. But now I've gotten to the point where I just like it for the story.
Yeah.
Well, now Star Wars is so much more than George Lucas and his ego and whatever he had going on. Now it's like. It's its own entity. It's just going to keep moving on forward.
Which I'm totally okay with because it's an awesome little universe and there's so many places they can go with it. And
definitely. And they can still bring back some older characters from the original. I'm sure they'll bring back Lando at some point, which would be great. They're going to make a Han Solo origin story, so you'll have young Han Solo, young Chewbacca, young Lando. There'll probably be the whole story on how he got the Millennium Falcon. They're going to really elaborate on all these different stories. They're even talking about doing Obi-Wan with Ewan McGregor. Reprising his role. So it'll take on when he's on Tatooine kind of protecting Luke as he's a child, and it'll take place during that whole time when it leads up to him being old Obi-Wan. Old Ben. Yeah, so that'll be pretty sweet. If it does become a whole trilogy, if not, it'll be cool just to see him.
That was so cool. I love Ewan McGregor.
He was the best part of those prequels by far.
Well, and
his acting.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson was
that was the first one. What is his name? I can never remember his name.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson.
I could have done without Samuel in there.
Yeah, his purple lightsaber.
Yeah. and Samuel's going, hey man, I want a different colored lightsaber. Purple. Okay. Our CGI team can figure out purple. Let's do purple.
They're the only one.
Yeah.
Everyone else is blue and green. And then you have the Force Saber, which is red.
I wish he would have been more of a badass.
You know what's interesting about the Force Awakens and then the next two that are coming out? They're each not focusing, but they're each telling the story of the old main characters. So this one was all about Han Solo because he had such a prominent role.
Yeah.
And I guess the next two each kind of focus on. So one's probably gonna be obviously
Leia,
more Luke.
And then more Luke.
Yeah.
Which is so cool. So, do we think that Rey is Luke's daughter?
I don't.
I'm starting to think no.
Okay.
I think it's too
But
obvious.
I think
That's too obvious.
I think she might have been a very young Padawan right before shit got real fucked up, and whoever turned on Luke back in the day, I think it was right around that time, and then they decided to kind of take whatever was left of the kids and just
protect
like
them.
protect them and put them on
Put 'em away.
remote planets.
They were
Because she's
dangerous.
in her dream.
She's definitely she's very powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like she was probably learning, and that's why she was kind of able to she was able to control the stormtrooper and.
But even what's his name? The their son. What's his name?
Well, his name is Ben. Kylo. Ren.
Kylo Ren. Even when he's like, oh, the droid escaped with a girl. He's like, which girl?
Right.
Like he knew which girl. He knew that there was a powerful Jedi down
Right.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
He could feel it or something. I don't know. Maybe that was the Force talking to him. I don't know. And then the recognition. Then when she has the vision, when she's holding lightsaber, I guess there's a lot of like little blue, little hints in there.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where he kills one of his knights.
Yeah.
Because to protect her.
Yeah.
So it's really watch it again.
Oh
Watch
yeah,
it again.
I know the scene
You just
you're
have to
talking
you just have to go slowly because there's a lot
I didn't
of
realize
stuff.
that he was.
And then when
okay.
she's dropped off on the planet and she's crying, she's in a Padawan outfit.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And you see the ship take off, but she's crying and she's got the hair like a Padawan and she's dressed like one. So it's really fat. That whole thing is really interesting.
I think they're around the same age too, or maybe she's just a little younger than him. So I was thinking that.
Oh, than Kylo?
Yeah. And maybe they were training together at some point when they were really young and stuff.
It would be interesting to see if maybe they don't make like Darth Vader have another like lover because he was a dark. And like the Emperor wanted him to have more dark offspring, and then he produced someone, and because there's like a recognition, and then the lightsaber, it's like, oh, that belonged to Luke Skywalker and his father before him.
Right.
And she picks it up, and she's like, it's calling to you. So there's obviously a lineage there somehow.
Oh, I like the theory that it was. That doesn't. Sorry, were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because that has nothing to do with what you're saying, I guess, but that she was an offspring or related to Obi-Wan. I read that online, and I thought that was a good theory, like that they were intertwined somehow.
Well, that would make sense.
Together. Yeah.
Because there would be, because the Padawan-Master relationship is so closely knit.
Very true, yeah.
You know, that there would be some kind of calling there.
So it's something like that, or there is some kind of lineage. I just don't think it's his daughter, because I feel like that's just too obvious. I don't know, it just feels like, oh, here's your daughter,
It would be too easy.
Yeah, I just feel like Luke was probably just like more monk-like. I don't feel like he even had kids, maybe.
Well, I guess in the now extinct canon, he did actually.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll reintroduce that story.
Possible.
And like in the next one, I'm hoping it's about Luke. I hope they don't leave that hanging.
Stupid
Game of Thrones where they leave like stupid things out. I'm like, don't do that.
Well, we're dealing with J.J. Abrams, so if you watch Lost, he's always leaving you wanting more. You're asking questions, and then they're going to answer one thing, but then leave it open to 3 more questions.
He got lost and lost.
Oh, he definitely got
towards
lost.
the end. He
should. He got a little
like cash cow. You should have just ended it a little.
Yeah, there should have been one less season, but it all worked out. I'm rewatching Lost right now, so it's in my mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed that he's not doing the last Star Wars or Star Trek one.
Oh, really?
And I saw previews for it. I'm like, what is this? Is not Star Trek. This is like something. Wait, there's like motorcycles and shit. I'm like, this is not Star Trek.
It's like he kind of went from like the Next Generation. He brought the Next Generation and he tied it with the First Generation. I don't know if you guys know Star Trek. I grew up in a Trekkie house.
I'm more of a
Trekkie person. I'm more of a Trekkie person than Star Wars. That's how I grew up. But and so he tied those two together. And then, but he changed the timeline. And this one is very much reminiscent of First Gen to me. Like the sets and everything, the big rocks and the planets in the valley. I'm like, where's the guy in the red shirt? Where's the guy in the red shirt? Who's going to die? Yeah. But I saw a preview for it, but I wasn't like super stoked on it.
Yeah, me
I'm
neither.
like, what are they going to do? Who's going to be bring back the Borg? Come on, man.
Oh, that would be good.
But I guess it's only a trilogy, so they're not going to do another one after that.
Damn.
And I didn't see any Borg ships. No Resistance is
definitely...
futile. None of that.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but...
Well,
I did see the first two.
Up.
It's on Netflix, right?
So you never watched Star Trek?
No.
Oh, man.
Never.
You would like it if you like Star Wars.
Captain Picard?
He's
I
good.
know who he is. I know a lot of the characters. I saw the other 2 movies they did, or J.J. Abrams did. But I'm sure that's like nothing compared to the whole series.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so much.
There's a
so
lot.
much to it. It's crazy.
Because it was on for a long time and then it went away, right? And then it came back as
as Next Gen, and then they had Deep Space Nine. Then they had Voyager, and then there was another one with a female
Andromeda.
captain.
No, Voyager was the female captain.
Well, who was the one that was
Jane.
with? He was the Quantum Leap guy. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was the captain.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
That
about.
that was a Star Trek thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had the thingy, but I don't know what you're talking about. There was Andromeda, which had Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't watch that one.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
stopped watching after Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, me too. That was a good series too, Deep Space Nine. You ever give it a chance, Matt? Want to take a dive into some '90s television?
I grew up with Next Gen, but my parents would watch First Gen, and when they were first married, I'm sure I've told you this story because I think it's adorable and I love it. They'd get the box of Dove bars, right? And it has 3, but there's only 2 of them. So to get the last one, usually how they would like do a tiebreaker is that they'd be falling asleep or something, and the Star Trek First Generation would be on because they come on late at night, and they're on all night.
Yeah.
And so they'd be watching it, and whoever could guess it first would get the last Dove bar.
Ooh.
So literally, both of my parents, and this is the one where this happens, and she can just relay it. In the first 5 minutes, she knows exactly because they watched it so much.
Jesus.
It's impressive. My parents are nerds, and I love it.
But hey, babe, can we just cut the bar in half? And we both half.
No!
1.5, 1.5.
You either win or you lose.
But it does make it fun. It does make it more fun than
I'm sure they're, yeah.
So are you guys back on the Game of Thrones train?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You caught up, right?
Yep. And I watched.
Thank God for Kylan making you watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I was really missing out.
Yeah. So you
That's really long.
you watched the latest ep?
Heck yeah!
Okay.
Yeah.
Watched the latest ep?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think?
What do I think? First of all, I'm not going to watch the next 3 episodes so I can binge watch them.
I
have
might
to.
Be a smart way to
I
do it.
can't do it. It's
hard
killing
waiting
me.
a week. It's
So I
really
watched
hard.
it. I went up to my parents' house on Sunday. I was going to watch it with Ava and Emily, my friends, but they went up to LA without me, so it was quirky. And they were getting back to 9:30. I was like, peace. I'm going to go watch this and go to bed. So I went to my parents and we watched it. And my parents they probably watched all of season 5 before the season 6 premiere. And then we watched season 6 and talking about it. And then I went up there today. We watched it again.
Yeah. I know. I almost watched it again when I got home today.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. That was cool.
So I read this awesome theory on the internets about how...
Oh, hold on. Before I cut you off. So right now, where we are, there's no books. So this is all new territory. I was a book reader, so...
Which is cool.
I was caught up. Even in the last season, shit was different. But now it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen? This is crazy.
I read something about that too, though, where the producers, Stevie Weiss and...
Well, they know what's gonna happen.
Well, and they've agreed with... it's in their contract that they have to take it the way that George R. R. Martin wants
exactly.
it. So it'll end in a similar place. Whoever wins the Game of Thrones in the end of the books will win it in the series.
By the way, the books are so much different.
Yes.
Way different.
There's a lot more players.
Some characters are still alive. Some characters are dead.
Oh, wow.
It's all different, but it is still the same basic timeline. They are going in the same direction. So
my dad read the books and
you guys should read the books. They're giant. Get it on audiobook. That's what I did. It's so fun listening on audio. So just get on audiobook and just have 40 hours and you're good.
I know the reason why I've been hesitating because I know I'm going to get sucked into it. I know
there's going to be
like
so many different characters,
else.
so many names, and you're going to start looking at people differently.
What do you want from me?
What do you want? Are you trying to manipulate me somehow?
Oh, wow.
Are you
well, that's what my dad said too.
motherfucker?
That's what my dad said too. He's like, it's in my head. It's in my head. I'm looking at people I'm thinking they're coming after me.
Oh, that's scary.
And I'm like, oh.
I know.
I know.
He's on to me.
So good, so good.
I know,
Okay.
I'll get second.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
Okay.
but that's a good point to make. So I will not believe that Jon Snow is truly dead. Sorry,
don't think
spoiler
he's
alert.
dead.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah, you better know now. We're talking about
Does
it.
he die in the books?
Yes.
It happens very similar in the books,
Okay.
but
It's alluded
there's-
to, right?
just like how it ended in the series, it ended kind of like that in the books, so you don't really know. You gotta wait till the next book.
Because
Okay.
Melisandre, the Red Witch, is always telling Jon Snow I see daggers coming at you in the dark. I see daggers coming at you in the dark, beware. And then it happens. However, it's fortuitous that just as he dies, she walks in just as he dies, the same night she's there.
Uh-huh.
And then I will not believe that Jon Snow. I guess in the books, my ex Steven, the guy that I was talking to last year, he would talk about it, and how he had read the books, and he was like all up on the trivia and stuff, and he was talking about how it was like there's magic in the wall. They always talk about going down the wall, and there's magic in the wall, and they're always talking about that. And so there's that fan theory, and then the fact that in the TV series, how he's not, Ghost hasn't left his side.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost is right there. And then the Red Witch, you saw her in her true form.
Mm-hmm.
And how she's like looking at it knowingly, and she's so sad and she's so weary, so maybe she'll sacrifice herself
That's what I'm thinking.
in order to bring Jon Snow back
Yep.
to right the wrongs that she's committed.
Mm-hmm.
So I won't believe that Jon Snow's dead until
Yeah.
I see his body, because they didn't burn his body either. White
Yeah,
Walker
and they
territory,
all just-
man.
Exactly.
They didn't
Yeah.
burn his body.
Well, think
Yeah, I'll
about it.
just
When you
protect
are
it.
stabbed and you're up there in freezing cold, your body temperature's going to lower. Everything's just going to start to slowly shut down, but you can still maintain some life.
Yeah.
So depending on how long it takes them for him just to sit up there on that table, for Melisandre to maybe slip that necklace onto Jon Snow and see what happens, and maybe she sacrifices herself for Jon Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Because she has had visions of Jon Snow fighting back at Winterfell, so retaking Winterfell back from the Boltons.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a huge possibility, because that would be a huge stronghold for if the White Walkers ever did come across
Right.
and
Well,
even get across the wall.
I do
if
think
that's
it's
even
also
possible for 'em.
foreshadowing when Jon Snow's nemesis at the Watch, the guy who like started it,
Oh yeah.
and how he's like he was going to ruin the Watch. I think it is the Watch's time to disband. They need
Yes.
it's time for them. They're not supposed to be there anymore, and that was like part of why they were holding on to something. And he's like, we don't belong here anymore.
Yeah.
We need to go warn the South. We need
Yeah.
to move down. We need to rally. We need to bring it down. Honestly, how I think it's going to end. The only way to kill a White Walker is with Valyrian steel and fire.
Yep.
So we need all the Valyrian steel that's there. That's Jaime. That's Brienne of Tarth. That's Jon Snow, and Needle. I think Needle might be asleep. Might not ever come back.
You never know. You never
and
know.
then
Who's Needle?
that's Arya's
Arya's
sword
little sword.
that she buried.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
John made that for her.
Oh,
way back.
And then isn't there? There's another Lannister sword. There's another Valyrian sword floating around somewhere.
I almost want to say.
Is it Mormont?
I
Mormont
want
has
to say
Valyrian?
Mormont.
Has the Valyrian steel? He does. It's his father's.
It's his-
No, his father's sword went to
His
Jon
father's
Snow,
sword was Jon Snow's.
but I think he has one too.
I feel like he might have had one as well.
So, working the dragon, Jon Snow needs to meet Daenerys and needs to work the dragon, and Daenerys can be on the back of it while he's working, and then so you have Valyrian steel and you have dragon breath, and that's the only way you're going to beat the White Walkers. That's my theory.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah.
Well, and right now, and then we had the Sand Snakes pretty much destroy the prince. They killed his whatever entourage he had left supporting. What was his name? Prince Oberyn?
Oberyn was her
The guy who
husband.
got killed by the mountain
Yes.
in the jousting battle.
So they're gearing up for war down there. So she's going to rally the troops down there, and I feel like they're going to head across the sea, but it might be just in time for them to all kind of maybe band together in a way and be like, hey, look, I know you're pissed off at us, but this is a
Or
big
she's
fucking...
going to get there and all the Lannisters are dead.
That could happen too. She's like, okay, this is weird.
That was so interesting because for the longest time, the Lannisters were winning. You know, and then now they're at a low point. Even Cersei is like become very much humanized.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
she's
yes,
been
yeah.
humiliated
Well, she's
and
been
brought
humbled.
down.
She's been stripped down and taken down to nothing.
Yeah.
She's been treated like shit.
I'm interested to see what happens with Bran in the tree.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the whole last season...
He wasn't touched on, but he is coming back this season.
Oh, yeah, yes, he is, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably be like 6'6" and
Yeah.
A god.
be a grown man now.
He'll be a god. Because he was talking to the old man in the tree. He was talking to old gods.
Yes.
That's what the whole thing was.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was reading a theory about Bran and how speculated that he might be able to work his way into White Walkers' minds.
Oh.
Because he'll become so powerful that he can start doing that too.
Starks
Ooh,
because they're of the
crazy.
north. There's something about that in the books too, about how they're in the north and there's some weird magic up there.
Huh.
So
Yeah.
that would be really cool.
Yeah, that before he left, because he was barely in the last season, but like how he was, the last thing it showed him was really just harnessing his power.
Yeah.
So like so much time has passed that I feel like he's just gotten stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then there's the other Stark boy, the little one,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
wandering around somewhere.
He's out there.
You remember the little brother?
Oh, yeah.
Rickon.
Rickon.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, he was
Rickon's-
with the Wilding chick
Mm-hmm.
that protected them.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and then with Hodor. I think Hodor's with
Hodor's
him. Or
with-
did he
With
stay
Bran.
with?
Porter's with Bran because he has
Okay.
to carry Bran around.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
But yeah, Bran and Hodor are coming back. But yeah, Rickon and the other one, they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think about Sansa? What's gonna happen with her?
Oh my god. So like Brynn is like my favorite character.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
She's
a
like
badass.
whatever reason, her and Jamie's whole thing, I love. That was like
so.
probably one of my favorite stories because it kind of redeemed him, and she is just so hardcore and true to her missions and everything. I don't know, like she's like my favorite. So that was like my favorite part of the episode when she's training with Reek, and then she finally shows up to pledge her oath to her. So
Just beware. The next episode is called Oathbreaker. Her sword is called Oathkeeper.
yeah, Oathkeeper.
So just beware.
Wow.
Just brace yourself.
I know that's what
brace
they say.
yourself.
Don't fall in love
Brace
with
yourself.
characters. So.
I saw that and I was like, oh no.
Man, that is kind of
Sansa has to make it and Brienne has to be there. Like, don't do this to me.
That would be crazy then. Under what circumstances would she, turn against that thing?
I don't think she could. I don't think there's any way she would ever break into
No, I think it's going to be more like Jaime betrays her or something. Because
I want to like Jamie now. I want him to stay
he's
cool.
kind of gotten back in with Cersei, and he just like swore that whole like vengeance
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I just don't see how that would really affect Brienne then at that point.
Well,
Yeah.
I just making the connection with the sword
right,
because Jaime gave her the sword, and she said every great sword has a name.
Yeah.
Only meant Oathkeeper, and looked at him because he kept his oath and came back for her and everything like that. And I really like that story arc also.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw that name and I was like, no!
So what do you think then about Sansa and her? Like, where are they gonna go?
Sansa?
Because her oath is to protect her, and then what? Like, so what's she gonna do? We'll bring her south.
I worry about
They're
Sansa
fine.
because Brienne made a very similar oath to Catelyn, and Catelyn was betrayed and didn't. I'm just like, oh no, like, and then Sansa is with Greyjoy, which he's not Greyjoy anymore. He's Worm or
Reek. Yeah.
and that's I'm like, I don't know what'll set him off, or like what maybe he's on this grand scheme with Ramsay to just break her, and I'm just like,
Yeah, he's pretty unpredictable in that way.
I had such high hopes for her when she came down. She came out of the Eyrie, and she was like in that black feather thing. I was like, oh, new Sansa, she's badass. She's gonna play the court. She's gonna get it. She's finally learning.
Yeah.
And then she gets sold off to this terrible guy, and she's in her old home, and it's just this like heart-wrenching story. It was not the last episode of season 5, but the episode right before that, where Stannis kills his daughter and Sansa gets married. That was like the hardest episode I've ever. It was worse for me than the Red Wedding.
Yeah. No, it was.
Well, that was
It was
the rape at the end, right? Yeah, that was pretty
That was
hardcore to see that.
Yeah.
That was rough.
And you just got to think, she's been having to deal with that for who knows how long. The time has passed since the first night until she finally jumps over the wall and escapes.
Yeah. And she
Who knows
alludes
what
to
kind
it
of
being
shit.
every night.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And that's exactly what.
So
we
is she
do.
pregnant with his son? Is
Could
he
be.
in
Oh,
potence?
that's true.
Like, what's going on there? I don't know. I don't know what she would do if she had, because, man, if I had, ooh, nope.
You know
No,
what
I would
character?
not.
You know what character I also like a lot was, and I don't know, I forget his name, but he was Stannis' right hand man.
Davos, Sir
Oh,
Davos.
the Onion Knight. He's one of my favorite characters.
The one who the girl
especially in the
teaches to
book.
read.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then now I think it's so cool that he's at Castle Black,
Yes.
kind of like with those guys in the room.
I
'Cause
think-
I was like, oh, this is.
He'll be,
I'm glad
I think,
he's there.
well, he's with a true Baratheon, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Stark, or Snow is Baratheon and Targaryen.
Yeah.
He's the bridge between those two. And I'm just like, or is he Stark? I don't know. Because wasn't it
You don't know.
Yeah, oh, it could be the sister, Stark.
Yeah.
with Targaryen,
Yeah,
Aerys
with,
Targaryen?
yeah.
And
That's what I'm
he
thinking
rescued
it
a
is.
baby
Yep.
and brought it back. So either way, but he's aligned with the true king.
Very true.
Which
I think him and Brienne are the truest characters. Like,
well, Jon Snow was too.
and,
Jon Snow was
yeah,
I
Jon
thought-
Snow
noble.
for sure. But he's not
Noble.
serving anyone. Those two are
No.
kind of serving
Yeah,
people.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Sansa, she still has an innocence to her. She's still, I feel like she's got a good heart to her. And of course, Jon does.
What about Jorah?
Jorah Mormont, he does. Yeah, I think he does. I think he got caught up in shit. Like, he wanted to return back to his old life, but then he found something new, but he was still stuck having to lie.
Yeah.
And eventually he did, like, I'm not going to, rat on her, because I love her. He literally loves this woman. I think he'll do anything to save her, to help her, to do anything. If that means going into, like, the middle of a Dothraki horde and try to save her, he's going to do it.
I think he realizes that's his now
That
purpose,
is his
especially
calling. That
'cause
is
he's
his
got
purpose.
the grayscale.
Oh, he's
happening.
done. Yeah. I mean, the dude should have cut off his arm or something. I
What
don't
happens with grayscale?
You
They
become
slowly
those stone
turn.
men.
Yeah, but do you?
It's like leprosy or
But
something.
do you go mad? Like, what happens to the men who get
I
grayscale?
think it does change you mentally. It must at
Yeah,
some point.
'cause-
I think it's so
And they
painful.
try to kill you? Is that they
I
want to
think
kill
they-
all human? Like, what is the?
That's what it felt like in
mythos
last
behind it?
season when they were like jumping and trying to grab him in the boat and everything. Just looked like they wanted to kill him and eat them or
I
something.
think, like you say, like it's like they're left, like they're confined to an area and they're just like they've
There.
gone crazy and almost
Yeah.
like zombies. They
Yeah.
just attack and turn you to
Interesting.
grayscale.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's all I got from the show.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there was anything else in the book about
There
it.
is. It's been a while since I've read the books, and there's so much information. And I've been watching this show
Yeah,
now. Like
yeah.
I'm crossing. Like my information's
Since
getting
we're-
all
yeah.
rewired. Like I don't know
That's
what's
why.
what
It's
anymore.
another reason why I've read the books. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I want to
Yeah.
get confused, and also I get sucked into it. I would literally disappear. Like no one.
Yeah.
People
Be
texting
like,
me. I'm like, I'm
Rachel, we're supposed to podcast. And she's like,
I'm
I'm
reading.
on book 4. I can't leave.
I know you won't even hear from me.
Right.
You won't even hear from me. If I don't text you guys back, it's usually because I'm reading something. It's like, yeah, I can't. I'm in the middle. I'm involved. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm in a relationship right now. I'm just moving on. Like, it's brand new, and I'm in the love bubble. I'll see you later. Like,
So if you are a book reader, George R.R. Martin is getting closer and closer to finishing the 6th book, so it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I think he's 7 books is the goal, I think.
I think so.
So
They're going to
if
break
they
the
can get
6th
through
book
this one,
into 2 for the
2 episodes or
for
2
2
seasons. Yeah.
and the 7th one into 2 seasons.
Yep.
So because they said there's like a cap. There can only do 9
There's so
seasons
much
or
information.
something.
Are you serious?
10
I would have thought it was only
Was 10 episodes a season or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
5. Well, right now, like in this season, they have 5 different filming locations.
Wow.
Last season, they had 3. And because there's been such a demand.
I think it's over 1 million in episodes,
Yeah,
too, to make.
fans are just like, we want more,
Yeah.
give us more. There is no way. They are literally from July until, like, they have like 2 months off, these actors.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the time they're on location or flying, like, Emma Clark, Targaryen.
Daenerys.
Dany Targaryen. She just went from Ireland, Northern Ireland, to Spain, to film this location. She's suddenly with a Dothraki horde, which, by the way, I love her.
She's
I want
gorgeous.
to be her.
She looks so much different. Like, she's got brunette, she's got brown hair.
Short.
Yeah,
Short
short. You're
brown
like,
hair.
wow, you could, like, completely not even know that you were Dany on the most
I
popular
like
show
the
out
character,
there.
and
Yeah.
it's so much more than just the fact that she's this gorgeous woman, but it's
She's
like
one of the most
powerful,
women.
badass.
I mean, because she started from literally being a little girl. Like, in the book, she's like 13, I want to say, 12, 13, and she's getting married to a Dothraki
King.
lord,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Her-
hardcore dude.
Yeah, her
and then now
brother's
she's
going her
like
off.
full-on queen.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
running shit and planning on
That's
taking over
still
the
one of
world.
my favorite scenes ever on television when her brother gets his
Oh,
crown.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's still one of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes. And she just sits there like,
Yep.
she's just badass. I just love it.
Especially as a watcher, you're just like, fuck yeah.
All my
Yeah.
favorite, like one of my favorite, all my favorite, like favorite scenes are with her. There's the other one where she tells her dragon to breathe fire.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
this is or what does she say? I am Daenerys Targaryen. Valerian is my mother tongue. I've known it since birth.
Yeah.
And she like just breathe fire, and he just eats them and scorches them. Like, ugh.
Sorry to interrupt this conversation, but we have to wrap up.
Oh.
I have a crock pot. I just realized.
That was hungry.
Harmony is like ready to go home.
All right,
All
so
right.
let's put our clothes back on and
Wait.
leave.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a good movie and show.
Oh, hell yeah.
And discussion.
Hell yeah. Well, Rachel, thank you so much
you
for
for coming
coming
on.
back on the old podcast. And yeah, whenever you're done with the book, give us a heads up. We'll plan out a nice
I am
little
done
book
with
chat.
school next week.
Perfect.
So-
yeah, whenever you get around to it.
Let's plan on not next week, the week after.
Yeah,
we can
whenever.
do that, and
Okay.
then I will have no other reading obligations, so I can actually like fulfill
Awesome.
the book chat requirement that we're trying to do here. So I do apologize again.
No,
I'm
don't
so
even
sorry.
worry about it.
Well, you've been on my case, like not on my case, but you've been asking me about it for like 2 months. Oh, when am I
Remember our initial? How long should we take? 2 weeks, probably. Yeah,
Right,
I can
yeah,
read
yeah.
in 2 weeks. There's no way I'm gonna finish in 2 weeks.
Well, we're just starting out, so we're trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. And,
We'll
you
figure
know,
it out.
fine.
We're in the swing of
People
it.
got busy
But if you
schedules.
could send me the audio link, I can listen to it while I'm driving, which is helps me a
Yeah,
lot.
and it's a good thing to listen to. It's
Okay.
engaging.
A good listen,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not boring or anything. So
Yeah, I
it's
have
not that
gotten
long either.
onto the podcast game, by the way, but I listen to a lot of like fantasy, science fiction
Oh, nice.
podcast stories. So
Cool.
which I love.
What, like short stories and stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What, like what? Okay, so every podcast we do, we try to do some recommendations. So, do some recommendations.
I just caught up all the way with an awesome little ditty called Drabblecast, Drabble cast.
Okay.
It's all one word. It's got a big like octopus. They're really big into Cthulhu and
Oh,
H.P.
yeah, yeah.
Lovecraft,
Yeah.
which gets a little overwhelming for me because there's all these like crazy names. But I just got into another one called Clark's World Magazine, and that one is a little bit more variety, a little bit better, honestly.
Cool.
I'm
So.
definitely check it out.
Yeah, sci-fi, fantasy, a little bit. You know, sci-fi can get a little bit horror sometimes,
Yeah.
which is fine by me. But yeah, so anyway, that's my plug.
Sweet.
What do you guys?
So I will plug. There's this podcast called The Fighter and the Kid, and it's with Brendan Schaub, who is a former UFC fighter, and Brian Callen, who's a comedian, actor, really, really funny. He's always on Joe Rogan. Both of them are, actually. And it's basically like a sports podcast. Really funny, just always talking shit, making jokes. It's just it's a fun listen, especially if you're a dude and you're into sports or just really whatever.
Okay.
So recommend that for anyone out there who want to check out some sports podcasting.
And I will recommend the Tim Ferriss podcast. Tim Ferriss is a entrepreneur / human guinea pig.
Yeah,
And
that's a good. Yeah,
yeah, and his podcast has a lot of he interviews like a lot of powerful people at the top and powerful and successful people, and he asks about very simple things like their daily routines and like how they go about just their everyday lives and stuff, and what theorizes is what makes people. That's my crockpot alarm.
Are you cooking now? It's cooking in the crock.
Beef
Yeah.
stew.
Ooh,
Oh, so
nice.
we're all going over to Matt's house.
Yeah.
I hope you have bread bowls.
Oh, damn, that would have been really good. Rethinking everything. Yeah, and he's got 3 books out. The 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body,
Oh, that's
4-Hour
right.
Chef.
Okay.
And it's just it's not limited to business or even he does philosophy and health and just very well-rounded kind of guy and very interesting podcast. So definitely worth checking out. He's got a lot of them.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Alrighty.
Winter's coming.
Summer's coming.
Ooh,
Summer's good.
let's all learn some Dothraki to say next time, by the way, because I was researching that.
Rocky-ish.
It is known.
Yeah, it is known.
I'm gonna get home in no time. In the meanwhile, I'm gonna rob you blind. Pointing and laughing and singing like, ha ha ha.